Hello, everyone, and welcome into Post-Show Headlines, the post-game presser edition of Post-Show Headlines. If you didn't watch yesterday's episode, something new that we're going to be doing throughout the football season. If it's a Friday and the Eagles play on Sunday, we're going to do a pregame edition of Post-Show Headlines, and then Monday will be the post-game presser edition of Post-Show Headlines. Of course, if it's a Thursday game, which they have this year to open, it'll be Thursday and Friday. So a little bit of a different spin on post-show headlines during the football season, and the other days will be our normal post-show headlines where we go into some weird, zany topics, and of course, we do the listener-sent-in questions as well. But let's do it right now with the Birds post-game presser, Kincade and Salciunas post-show headlines edition, without John Kincade, who's in LA. And that's why Connor's here. Thank you, Connor.
No problem.
All right, we do the downs. First down, second down, third down, fourth down. The problem is the fifth question we don't really have a title for because there's no 5 downs.
Fifth down, penalty on the fourth down.
First down, Tanner McKee yesterday had an incredible game, 20 of 25, 250-plus passing yards through a touchdown pass. He had a really good day yesterday, and he is a very, very good backup quarterback who I think we all believe could be a starter on some teams. There's some bad quarterbacks in the NFL.
Tyler Show.
Yeah. Like he could be the starter in New Orleans. And we found out from Zach Berman that there were teams that did call the Eagles during the offseason. So when it comes to McKee, I know we talked a lot about this on the air, but in case people weren't listening to the show and they're watching post-show headlines here, Tanner McKee, I asked the question, if a team came a call on today, we'll offer you next year's second-round pick for McKee. I'm doing it. And I know a lot of people get upset, and I know a lot of people that watched on YouTube said, how could you say that the day you're wearing the Philly shirt because Nick Foles was the backup quarterback that won the Super Bowl? I don't think we'll ever see that again in our lifetime.
No, probably not.
I really don't. And so if Jalen Hurts were to legitimately get hurt, I don't think they're winning with whether it's Tanner McKee, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, whatever, Dorian Thomas-Robinson. I don't think they're going to win without Jalen Hurts. So for me, I'm always thinking about what's next because in the NFL, the way salary caps work, you always have to think about down the road, which is why I would still trade Tanner McKee. But I think you've also made good points today as to why you wouldn't.
Yes, because it's not so much Tanner McKee is going to win the Super Bowl for the Eagles. It's that if you need a holdover for a couple of weeks and it puts you in a spot where you need to win one of those games, that's a guy that I would like as the safety net for Jalen Hurts. In past years, we've seen Hurts go down in big points of the season, and the Eagles have gotten lucky that losing those games has not killed them. That doesn't mean it wouldn't happen this year if he was to have a shoulder issue, a knee issue. The other thing, the draft pick that you want, well, if you were to trade Tanner McKee in March or April when the season comes down,
sure,
you can trade him for a draft pick that you can use in the same draft that you would have if you moved him today. So you don't have to worry about doing it right now. It just feels like an unnecessary move for a roster that's trying to get settled.
Sure. But I will say, if there is a team that something happens to their quarterback and it's desperate, like a first-round pick, if they're willing to bump it up to a 1, honestly, we shouldn't even have this conversation. But I know how a lot of you are with backup quarterbacks. I get it. All right, second down. Cooper DeJean or Stephon Gilmore? I asked that question for a reason. So yesterday, Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo had bad days. And there is a reason why Jacorian Bennett got traded for. We kind of found that out yesterday. Vic Fangio, we know when he gives praise, he means it. When he doesn't give praise, he means it. He hasn't necessarily praised Ringo or Jackson during his training camp media availability. And so they make the trade for Jacorian Bennett. We will see how he does when he gets chances to probably run with the ones this week at practice, I would guess. Let's say he's not good either. The reason why I say DeJean or Stephon Gilmore, because we had people asking us, should the Eagles go after Stephon Gilmore? Would you rather kick Cooper DeJean out to the outside or spend money on Stephon Gilmore and hope he's got something left in the tank?
I'd rather spend money on Stephon Gilmore. And the reason why is because there are not that many holes on this roster. So normally you like to go into the season with a little bit of space to wiggle if you have to make trades at the deadline. Mm-hmm. This Eagles team, unless they have, knock on wood, major injuries somewhere, they're not going to need to add much over the course of this season, I don't think, right? We already know a lot of stuff is set. So this would be your big spend. Why not do it now? If it doesn't work out, you're in the same spot you're in now.
Did they make a trade at the deadline last year?
I don't
even remember if they did. Byard was 2 years ago. I don't even remember if they added anybody last year.
I can't think of it
right now. If anything, it was probably some sort of depth guy, but I don't even remember them adding anybody last year. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. if you kick DeJean out to the outside, that's just you're speeding up the process because he's going to do that eventually. I think that's what it seems like.
Yeah.
That eventually he'll get kicked out to the outside.
But that creates another hole, and then you got to figure out who plays in the slot.
Sure. I'm still willing to see what Bennett does for you, but if you're like a week away from the season and nobody's won that battle yet, maybe you just go get a proven guy and hope that his legs are fresh, which leads us to third down. Does 3 preseason games add to your concern? Because not that anybody played in the 4th preseason game back in the day.
Yeah.
If we have a battle coming down the wire between 3 players, Jacorian Bennett, Adoree Jackson, and Keely Ringo, if we have a battle going down the wire at safety between Sidney Brown and Drew Makuba, who both have been banged up now. Drew Makuba has been banged up. Sidney Brown got hurt in the preseason game yesterday. The pass rush, not necessarily sure who's going to be that third guy that you can turn to behind Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt. Does now all of a sudden losing a preseason game, which we all wanted.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted the preseason get cut shorter. Does one less preseason game now add to your concern a little bit?
Sure. I mean, I guess it does because more is always better than less when it comes to the evaluation. But what I'll say is I don't think if you don't have that settled, you get the luxury to sit those guys in the 3rd and final preseason game. Like, I think they'll be out there because you're going to have to determine what you have.
No, what I'm saying is what if you had a 4th? They would then have more information.
So absolutely. By a simple numbers game, that does worry me. But my concern is more so, here's the other thing. I think Vic Fangio knows, right? I don't know that Vic Fangio needs a 4th preseason game to tell me whether or not these guys stick. So he probably has a pretty good idea of what he wants to do.
You might have wanted a 4th one for Jacorian Bennett, though.
Well, you're going to get a 2nd and a 3rd for him.
Yeah, sure, okay.
So
because he didn't play yesterday.
Get the job done.
He didn't play yesterday, right?
No, he did not.
He didn't play yesterday. All right, 4th down.
Tush push time.
Tush push time. Nolan Smith is off the table. Okay. Who will be the edge rusher or defensive tackle, Jalen Carter off the table, that's going to be the help to create pressure and sacks on quarterbacks? Last year, we saw the growth of Nolan Smith, but he still did that on a team that had Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham that was playing way better than I think anybody expected, Milton Williams, who got paid $100 million. There was a lot of guys on defense where Nolan Smith had the time to be able to develop. There's not much time to develop. Mm-hmm. Nolan Smith's now the guy. Jalix Hunt on paper is the second guy. Is Jalix Hunt your answer? Is it a Josh Uche? Is it Azeez Ojulari? Is it Ty Robinson? Is it Moro Ojomo? Like, who is the guy other than Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter? Because you're not going to win with just 2. Who is the guy we're going to go, that's the guy that's going to be the big piece that's going to help create pressure on quarterbacks?
I think it's got to be Jalix Hunt, right? That has to be the pick that you go with. He seems to have the highest upside in getting to the passer of any of those players we mentioned. They spent draft capital on him, not as much as some of the other guys, but still. And we saw production on the biggest stage out of him. He was solid in the postseason. So I would like to take a deep cut and go like Moro Ojomo is going to be the guy that's stepping up into that Milton Williams role, and maybe that lends to being more productive next to Jalen Carter when guys are tired. But if you're not going with Jalix Hunt, I think you're trying to make a deep cut pick for no reason.
The sad thing is, we don't even say Jordan Davis anymore.
Well, he's not a rush.
I know that's not
guy.
his. I know.
I think he could be good.
I know it's not his game, but it's just like it's a shame that's not even the name that comes to our mind. He was the first round pick a couple of years ago.
But he doesn't have to be. It would be like asking Devontae Smith to be a physical wide receiver next to AJ Brown.
I'd take him in a scrum.
Yeah, I would as well. He's a tough guy.
I think he can knock some people out.
Scrappy.
All right. Lastly, now that we've reached 5th down, whatever that is, what are you paying attention to the most this upcoming week in camp? So this will be something that we do in preseason, right? For the remainder of our Birds post-game presser, post-show headlines. Not the game itself. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when we're doing the show, we're reacting to what? What is it that you're paying attention to most at a camp? For me, I think the obvious is Jacorian Bennett running with the ones? Mm-hmm. And if he is, how much time is he getting with the ones? Is it 33%, 33%, 33%, all the guys split? Or is Jacorian Bennett running with the ones? They're trying to speed up the process to get him comfortable and then eventually play in preseason week number 2. I think that's the most obvious storyline that we're going to be following this week in camp.
but it's not my number one.
What is your number one?
Because we know a good amount about that cornerback battle, I feel like, coming out of the first preseason game. Like, if you told me right now, are Keely Ringo or Dory Jackson good enough to start on this team? I say no.
Okay.
And we know that leaves Jacorian Bennett with an opportunity. But Drew Makuba was injured and did not play last night. Sidney Brown was injured early on in the game and did not play much. I want to see the health of that safety room and figure out if those dudes are going to be available to get out on the field. Because as much as we worry about what we saw, maybe we should be worrying more about what we didn't see, which was anything about that safety battle getting settled.
Yeah. I mean, look, you know how I feel about Sidney Brown. I think the guy is reckless on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I understand, like, we had to check on. Like, sometimes his reckless, over-the-top nature could be good. Like, it blows up plays. But he could also blow up, and then a big play happens for the opposing team. So I want Drew Makuba to be the starting safety. But he's been hurt in camp. Like, this battle, we have not gotten a true – I don't think we've gotten any true information of who the starting safety is going to be.
No.
Like, Sidney Brown has the leg up right now because of Makuba's injury. And now Sidney Brown is banged up. So the safety position is an interesting one. And you're right. It's a good thing to pay attention to throughout camp this week. And I guess really because the offense we know.
I would like to watch the wide receiver competition for some of those lower spots because Johnny Wilson and Nia Smith were interesting last night.
Yeah, and Cooper had a great game yesterday.
But at the end of the day, how much does that matter when you have AJ and Devontae?
Right. And Jahan Dotson and Dallas Goedert and Saquon Barkley, all that kind of stuff. All right, well, that'll do it for Kincade and Salciunas, the post-game presser edition of Post Show Headlines. So Monday will be your normal post-show headlines because the Eagles obviously already played yesterday. So we'll get back to the normal schedule of post-show headlines on Monday. Johnny will be back on Monday. We prepare for week 2 of the preseason. And the Phillies have a sneaky big series against the Rangers this weekend that I'm sure we'll react to. And we will see how they trot out the lineup for those 3 games. It'll be interesting to see what the Phillies do. Everybody have a great weekend. We'll be back at it Monday morning. Johnny will be back at it Monday. And we'll talk to you then. Hey guys, Andrew Salciunas from Kincade and Salciunas. Thank you for checking out all of our stuff on YouTube. Make sure you click, like, subscribe on everything that you see. And of course, you can see everything from our YouTube feed. Full shows, interviews, when John's being an idiot, which is like 15 times a day. So make sure you check out all of our stuff on YouTube. We appreciate it.